Hi.
So today I'm actually not gonna introduce you like, hi, this is me and we are gonna talk to Abhishek Bachchan, because the fact of the matter is you really do not need an introduction, but this man is. So today we are gonna talk about Bob Biswas, and we all have watched the trailer and we are very intrigued to know actually what's gonna happen to this man and why he forgot everything. So tell me.
Well, I can't tell you why he forgets everything, because that would be revealing a bit too much. But when the movie opens, you discover that Bob has just come out of a coma.
Yes.
And he's lost his memory.
Yes.
And he's then told that he has a very happy, settled family life, a wife, a son, a daughter. And it's a very nice middle class Indian existence, and he's really enjoying it when his past catches up with him. And you realize that his past was completely contrary to the kind of life that he's leading, and how he has to deal with it. And that made it very interesting. It's filled with a lot of internal conflict, and it was fun.
Yeah. There are few things in the trailer, few moments actually in the trailer that for me, those are like very interesting point for me to talk about. Firstly, when at times he is almost like a child when he is asking that, that, अच्छा हमारे पास पैसा नहीं है, अच्छा है, क्यों नहीं है नहीं पता है. Like, there are so many those moments.
Yes.
And tell me, like, when you are trying to understand this man, what was your process like to get into the the frame of mind of that
Well,
person to
yeah, well,
perform
thank
it
you for
out?
that, because that's a really nice question, and nobody's asked me that. The point is, what was really exciting about this character is Sujoy, who wrote the script. When we were just going through some of our readings, we were discussing how to approach Bob, and what's really nice is there are no conditions to the character, because he's somebody who's forgotten everything. So you get to create him and his mind space from zero. So ये नहीं था कि नहीं एक्चुअली वो ऐसा आदमी है और he behaves like this या ऐसे करेगा, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. He doesn't know anything. So he has to rediscover everything. So when you see stuff like when when Mary, his wife, says हमारे पास पैसे नहीं है, he says हमारे पास पैसे, he doesn't know. So how would you react to a situation? I remember that scene. We're sitting, the scene was where we're sitting in a park and we're having lunch. I've taken her out for lunch,
Yes.
and he says, let's move to Kalimpong. तो मुझे Kalimpong क्यों जाना है? He said नहीं अच्छी जगह है. ऐसे तो बहुत महंगा है, हमारे पास पैसे नहीं, इतने पैसे नहीं है. तो मुझे अच्छा हमारे पास पैसे नहीं है. वो चौंक नहीं जाता कि अरे क्या बात कर रहे हो, हमारे पास. He does, because it's the first time for him. You know what I'm saying? Then there's another scene later on where a lady who's begging on the street, she asks him for money. क्या तुम्हारे पास भी पैसे नहीं है? He says नहीं है, लेकिन
मालूम नहीं
हाँ
है.
याद नहीं कहाँ रखा है. So he's like that. So there was no particular way in which Bob would react.
Yeah.
So you had to just literally build him up. So that gave us a lot of freedom to play with him.
I had a conversation with Shujoy, and what he was telling me another very challenging part, that what he was talking about was the logistic of it, because in between when you guys went to Kolkata to shoot the film, and then the pandemic happened, and then Amphan happened, and there are a lot of things that the whole, like what he was saying, how tough it was for him logistically also. And you are living that character, Abhishek. How difficult, emotionally difficult was it for you to, not doing anything maybe in between and then coming back to that? How difficult was it for you?
For me, emotionally it was fine. To pick up on Bob after 10 months was fine. I had a challenge with keeping the weight on. I have to be candid about that. It was very difficult. I'd become about 105 kilos for the film, which you can see. Because I wanted the paunch to show, I wanted the cheeks to be round, I wanted his face to be like that, and I put on the weight because I knew that would help me in my performance. You don't need to act that kind of stuff then. To maintain 105 kilos is very difficult. Yeah, so that was the most challenging thing for me during the lockdown. It's very cumbersome. It comes in the way, and it's not fun. So that for me, it was more a physical problem of keeping the weight on.
Tell me, this is not the first time, as I was saying, like, you know, we have seen you, like, you know, going to some extent where, like, you know, there is no vanity and you do not even care about it, right? Like, you know, you're the face of the film.
No, we
But-
care about it.
No,
You know, people asked me, and I was thinking about what was the first challenge of playing Bob Biswas. I think the first challenge is you have to leave your vanity in your hotel room and step out without it. It was, I think, that once I overcame that, as actors, you're trained to be vain. You know, it's a visual medium. You have to look in a particular way, and that's good. But when you're in front of the camera, you have to be the character. So yes, it was a challenge. I mean, I'll never forget. I joke with Chitrangada about it. The first time I actually met Chitrangada was when I first reached
Yes.
Kolkata, and
Yes.
I was walking through the lobby, going to my room, and you know, she was in the same hotel, so she was having dinner in the coffee shop or one of the restaurants. She came and said hello to me, and you know, it was very nice. And it was the first time I was going to be working with her. I think I've met her socially maybe just possibly once before that. And the next day was the first day of shoot, and you know, so that evening, hello, hi, how are you? Okay, looking forward to it, thank you. Went to sleep. Sorry, the next day we had our table reads, we did that, everything was fine. But the first day on set, you know, and I keep joking with her that here she was saying, oh, you know, I'm working with Diaz, directing the film, and you know, Sujoy, who she's a big fan of and she's been wanting to work with. I'm going to be working in a film written by Sujoy. It's produced by Shah Rukh, who she's a big fan of. I'm working with Abhishek, Bob Biswas, and I walked onto set in hair and makeup, and she was like, oh. You know? And I always make fun of her. I said, you know, that first look should have crushed me, because I was like, here she must have been thinking, you know, I don't know what kind of Abhishek Bachchan is going to come, and suddenly Bob Biswas showed up, and she was like, oh. But I said, contrary to me being very disappointed, I was actually very happy, because that meant the character was working.
Yeah.
You know, another story I love to tell is I knew that the character and the look was working because we were shooting, and I have a, you know, an Apple iPhone which has facial recognition to open the phone. And I remember the first day I went to that, and it refused to recognize my face. And I jumped up and I went and told Sujoy, I said, Sujoy, the phone isn't recognizing my face. So I think very early on we had this whole notion that the look was correct for the film. So yeah, it was, vanity was left in Mumbai. we were in Kolkata, yeah.
Right. We have to talk about the city Kolkata, because
Yes.
in Sujoy's film, like, you know, he literally captured every phase of it. I'm sure this time it was not that fun because it was like pandemic and everything. Do you have any romance with the city called Kolkata? How?
Of course, who doesn't? You know, for me, Kolkata is an emotion. It's not a city.
Okay.
And I think anybody who lives there will tell you that. It's not about a city. It's just, Kolkata is an emotion. Kolkata has always been so hyped up for me when I was a child, because I used to hear all these stories of from my father. My father lived there for 5 years. He worked there before he became an actor. And he, you know, he speaks so romantically about Kolkata, and in the 60s it was fantastic, and you know, the nightlife and the kind of work they used to do, and now with Bob, I got to see a very different side of Kolkata that I'd never seen before. I saw it through the eyes of Sujoy and Dia. So it wasn't Esplanade, it wasn't Park Street, which is what you hear. It was Tangra, it was the floating flower market. It was a world of Kolkata which also exists, which you don't really get to see very often. Coupled with the kind of food that you get in Kolkata in winters. We were shooting in January, February. The amount of nolangur that I've eaten over there, and the kathi rolls, the biryani, and I find, I mean, there's a lot of discussion, there's a lot of debate. Log jhagda karte hain. My verdict is, my personal view is final. The world's greatest biryani is in Kolkata.
Okay.
Full stop. With the anda, with the aloo, it's there. Best kathi rolls, Badshah kathi rolls,
Yes,
full
Badshah,
stop.
Badshah.
No debate. No debate. That's it.
You were winning all the hearts.
Oh my God, I went nuts. I mean, literally, because I had to eat a lot of food to maintain the
had
weight.
you had to
So
maintain
I
the
had a
weight
free
and you
hand.
had
So
free hand.
every day, Shujoy used to get me a dabba of I mean, I will not ruin it by saying it in Bengali, but Jal Bhara Shondesh.
Jal bhara sandesh.
Yeah, every morning for breakfast. That was that. Lunch, we finally eventually had to get this one cook who used to cook kosha mangsho for me every day with ghee.
Yeah.
Evening snack was biryani and dinner was bacha kati roll. Full stop.
Wow.
What
Abhishek,
fun,
you
no?
Abhishek, you
Yeah,
had like,
so
all the best thing in the world.
so you know, log mujhe पूछते हैं कि you know you had to really work hard and that physical transformation. And little do they know that I was on a eating spree. That's it. I was like, आज खाने में क्या मिलने वाला है? That was it. So for me, Kolkata is an emotion.
The character is a Bengali character, right? So another thing that I would like to know is that I know that you are quite familiar with the sound of the language Bengali, but was there any effort that you are putting
No, no.
to?
That's something Sujoy as the writer decided. He said, let's not get into accents.
Okay.
So if you see most of the main characters, we've kept a very universally understood kind of language because
Yes.
a lot of the other cast, like if you take, I mean, we had legends like Poranda who were in the film.
And
you
he
know?
spoke in Bengali.
Yes,
a
yes.
little bit.
So we wanted Bob and his family to be very universally appealable in that sense. So it was a conscious decision on Shujoy's part not to write it as a very Bengali character.
Okay.
Also, we have to remember he's somebody who has no memory. So there's no conditioning to him in that sense. So it
Right.
was written in that way. So we actually stayed away from it. It's something I was very keen to do. I said it'll be so nice. Let's keep that very heavy Bengali accent, a Bengali twang in the way he speaks Hindi. You know, there's a very particular way Bengalis pronounce Hindi when they speak. But Sujoy was very clear that he didn't want that, and Diya and I were convinced with his approach.
So, but how will you name it? Like, is it Bob Bishwas or Bob Biswas?
So that was another debate because Bob का एक तकिया कलाम है.
हाँ,
नमस्कार,
हाँ,
I'm Bob Bishwas.
हाँ, एक minute.
Ek minute. So it's not a Bengali will not say ek minute.
हाँ,
They'll say ak minute.
एक minute. हाँ, हाँ, हाँ.
Correct. So we consciously stayed away from it. So there was a big debate on this. Ki when I say, should I say Bob Biswas? Because to the rest of the world, it's Bob Biswas. But to a Bengali, it's Bob Bishwas. So the debate was what is completely true to the environment and the world of the film to what is something that everybody can relate to. So Sujoy, Diya and I decided let's go with something which is more universally relatable.
And that is?
And so we say Bob Biswas, but in the film he says Bob Bishwas. But he'll say ek minute. He won't say ak minute. So we stayed away from that.
Quite kind of a combination, huh?
Yes.
Quite kind of a
Yes.
combination. Very interesting.
Yes.
Very, very interesting. Did you sit down with your family and watch the film? I was talking.
No,
to
can you imagine? And if you have any influence with Sujoy, please catch him and complain. Sujoy hasn't even shown me the film, let alone my family.
He said ki, listen, I love Sir Bachchan sir ki baat ho rahi thi, and like I said ki, like because he had a long association and relationship with him and all that.
You should ask him how that relationship and association started and because of who it started.
Hey, tell me that story, man.
Then,
Yeah.
because of me.
And
And now
what happened?
he
What
just,
happened?
now everything. The promo, oh, I showed sir. I said, मुझे तो दिखा तो picture का hero में. No. Film, I'll show sir. I said, show, I have not seen the film. I'm promoting the film. I have not seen the end product.
Yeah, he said ki, like I'm just trying to correct it, and he said to me half Bengali, half Hindi. He said, Babare, I am tensed. I have to get everything correct before I show it to ma'am and sir.
हाँ, मेरा नाम तो लिया नहीं होगा उसने.
It is on record.
Yeah, see, it's taken for granted. I've not seen the film. I mean, today is the 24th. The film is releasing in 9 days. I've not seen the film. Yeah, hey, Vosh Babu. We're discussing how you're preparing the film because you have to get it right to show it to Mr. Amitabh Bachchan and Mrs. Jaya Bachchan. there's no discussion, thought process, consideration about the hero of the film having not seen the film.
There's only sir.
Dekha?
He loves her. We all love him. I know you also.
I also
do,
love
but-
him, yeah.
What is the frame of mind now? Within 9 days, within 7 days, the film is releasing. You haven't seen the film, so. tell
Yeah,
me.
but I mean, we made it. So, I mean, there's a certain amount of comfort and confidence that we've given it our best shot. The trailer is the first jhalak of what we've done, and that's been received well. So there's a bit of relief that, okay, you know, people are on the same page as us.
Now and press the bell icon. Never miss an update.